Alrighty, welcome back to a new episode of The Unreliable Show. I'm Tyler, that's Dean. We're going to talk about our favorite movies of the year 2014.
Okay, so number 10.
Hercules. Not the one with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, not the other one with the other guy.
There was another one?
There was two.
I didn't even know there was
two. This one was just called Hercules. Alright, here's what I said my top 10. It's different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Hercules battling the mythological monsters. Mythical?
Mythological.
Mythical?
It was that one.
Yep. But it winds up being different than that, and it goes into a more of just a real. It's like a real world Hercules. It's very cool. And he teams up with all these very cool people.
I heard he throws a horse.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
I happened to see a list today of the worst 25 movies of the year, and that movie was listed, and that was one of the reasons they listed it. I don't see if that would be a reason. Watching someone throw a horse would be amazing.
You know, I saw the trailer, and that's in the trailer, and I was like, this looks like a good movie, so I put it in my Netflix queue, and it arrived a couple weeks ago, and I watched it. I'm like, this is a really good movie. I mean, it's just simple, straightforward. It's not an emotional, elaborate story. It's just, it's just good fun.
Cool. For me, number 10 would be the one we saw, Big Hero 6. Disney movie about a big, marshmallowy superhero kind of guy that's designed to heal people, and then the kid that's controlling him tries to make him do things other than heal people, and story and drama, and in the end everyone's happy because it is in fact a Disney movie. But it's also comic book related, and therefore Stan Lee is in the movie, and that, if nothing else, earns it number 10 for me. But it was good otherwise.
It was a good movie, but it did not make my top 10 list. So number 9 for me, the Lego Movie.
Good call.
Yeah. Not as good as I was thinking. I saw it like months after
I think,
him and everybody else saw it, and then you guys were always quoting it and laughing hysterically, and I had no idea what was going on, and then when I finally watched it, I'm like, well, I laughed out loud once. I was smiling through the whole movie, I laughed out loud once. But it was good.
I mean, Star-Lord's in it, so you have to enjoy it. And that is his name. I don't care what his real name is. It's Star-Lord.
Yeah. So yeah, number 9.
Okay, my number 9. This one was hard. I was actually between this and my number 8. I kind of went back and forth a little bit. But the latest X-Men. I don't remember the subtitle, but basically franchise killer because they got rid of all the shit movies and pushed the universal reset button.
Yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past.
There you go, that one. Yeah. By the way, spoiler alert for anyone out there, but basically they reset the whole franchise. All the characters that died are now not dead, and everything's kind of back to how you want it to be, so they can make good movies again and ignore all the stupid shit that happens, like Wolverine Origins and X-Men 3 and just all the crap movies. So I'm happy about that. Also, the director actually undid his own movie, the one that was prior to that, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But still, I'm okay with everything.
Yeah, it was good. That's why
it was very good.
That's why it's my number 8 spot, tied with Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Days of Future Past, number 8 spots, both great. Comic book movies, a lot of fun. But they made it top 10, but they're not. I thought they were going to be higher, but they weren't. When I really went and looked at my lists, I was surprised that they didn't get higher on my list.
Yeah.
But they're definitely worthy of being there.
Actually, my number 8 also a comic book movie, but neither of those. Mine was The New Captain America. I actually, especially after the first one, which, I don't know, it wasn't great. It was good, I liked it, but it wasn't great, and it just, for a comic book hero that I wasn't really that into anyway, this did nothing to get me into him. But then the second one came out, and the second one was incredible. It was a lot more interesting, the story was better, the action was better, it was just a lot more involved. So yeah, that one definitely was really good for me.
It didn't make it on my list.
Anyway, number 7.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know everybody hated this movie, but we liked it.
Yeah, I was amazed. That was on the top 25 shittiest movies of the year list too, and I'm like, what? That makes no sense to me.
It was good.
I only saw one thing that made sense. They said that, the studio was too scared to take Gwen Stacy dying and make that the central theme. Because they said it should have been she died near the beginning, and the rest of the movie is him trying to cope with not only the fact that she died, but the fact that it was his attempt to save her that snapped her neck and killed her.
I can understand that, but I kind of like the movie because of the romantic plot.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like the first Amazing Spider-Man and this one because it was a romantic story, you know.
But it was a good story. Like it wasn't. I mean, some superhero movies, the romantic story is just forced and not good. Here it fit.
They did have a few too many villains in there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't near as bad
Everyone
as
said that, but
Spider-Man 3.
Exactly. It was nowhere near as bad as Spider-Man 3. That was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 7 actually was lower on your list, but the Lego Movie. I saw it with Kyle. We went, and it was hysterical. We were laughing throughout. Kyle actually was hesitant to go, and then afterward, he loved it as much as I did. We quoted it for months. I thought it was great fun. There's a lot of things that got me. The 80s-something spaceman and yelling spaceship at the end. I think we were both in tears in the theater. That was beyond hysterical.
I thought it was going to be higher on your list, actually.
I was surprised at how many good movies actually came out this year. And how many more I wanted to see but didn't. I actually have a longer list of ones to see than ones I did. So I am buying a lot of Blu-rays coming up.
Alright. My number 6 is A Million Ways to Die in the West. Also one of the most hated movies of the year.
Yep, this was on the list as well.
I don't know why. It was good fun. It was funny. Seth MacFarlane, great. Love him. He's a good actor. They played it up a little bit too much, but I think that was kind of the point. Like all this death, like they kind of had to do overkill, otherwise it would have just been. I like the relationship between him and Charlize Theron's character, and then what's his name? I'm gonna kill you and find you.
Yeah, they kind of flipped the script with the whole romance there. Like throughout the whole thing, you expect him to turn around and at one point save the damsel in distress or something like that. And throughout the whole movie, she's the badass, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, beautiful cinematography.
It looked really good. It did look like a Western.
Yeah, the little cameos that they had from everybody in there were, funny. Love the mustache song.
The cameos, I think, were probably one of my favorite bits. Is when I saw Doc there, and they ruined that in the trailer, which sucked because that would have been a great surprise. They could have put the other.
I would have rather saw Django.
They should have put that in the trailer
because I would have been more surprised by Doc Brown.
Yeah, Doc Brown. That was the best. And if that wasn't spoiled in the trailer, I think that would have been way funnier.
Yeah.
And actually, that movie is tied with another movie for my number 6 as well, because it's the same reasons pretty much. I mean, it was really good, it was really well done. They said that a lot of the jokes were run into the ground or were kind of overkill, but I didn't really get that. I thought it was paced out really good. He didn't recycle a lot of jokes from his other material, which some people like Ted did kind of steal a lot from Family Guy, and this not nearly as much. I thought it was well done and very good, and I honestly think Seth MacFarlane is really funny. So I like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, like I said, tied with this, was Odd Thomas. It was a lesser-known release. It got almost no publicity here in the States, but I know over Europe area, I think it was publicized a little better. It did look better there. But yeah, it's based on a Dean Koontz book, who's my favorite author, and actually just turned out to be a really good movie. I think I had you and Bert watch it.
Yep.
And yeah, throat cancer still, sorry. I thought that you guys both enjoyed it somewhat.
Yeah, it was good.
And yeah. I really dug that. It had what's his name in it? I can never remember his name when I'm talking about him. When I'm not, his name's always in there.
Like a lead character?
No, the guy that played the detective. He's also in Boondock Saints and a million other things. He's the Green Goblin in the old Spider-Mans.
Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe.
There you go, Willem Dafoe. He was in it and really good. The lead character is a no-name I don't remember, but he was really good in it. A lot of people were. It was great casting, great acting, very well done. And for a Dean Koontz movie, most of his books, when they go to movie, are very under-budget, B-rated kind of things. And they're usually, at best, they're a 6. So, yeah, I was really impressed with this.
Yeah, alright. So let's get down to it. Number 5 for me was The Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't think you've seen it.
I've never even heard of it.
It's a Wes Anderson movie. I'm not crazy about his movies.
I was going to say, we watched some of those earlier in the year, and they sucked.
No.
No?
Wes Anderson's different.
Oh, I'm going to watch Craven.
Wes Anderson, he does like the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh, yeah, I didn't...
All those weird... I'm not crazy about his movies, but this one I enjoy very much. It's, just about the story of an old hotel in Budapest and the owner and his, relationship with the bellboy. It's actually very funny, very humorous, little action, very emotional. It's really good. The cinematography is phenomenal. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Mine, and I even wrote it down in the other order because I was going back and forth between my 5 and 4. But I'm going to change it last minute here. My number 5, Expendables 3. I actually It got a lot of bad reviews, and I didn't see it in theaters, so I had time to see the reviews before actually watching the movie. And I wasn't expecting great. I had to watch it because I love the first two. I love the whole concept of the films, getting all the old action heroes together and everything. So then I did finally see it, and it was a lot better than I expected. I thought they did a really good job of blending the actual action and the movie elements with like just their, you know, little shout outs to their old films and little jabs at each other and all that. They did a much better job than the second one of kind of working in the old characters as well as the ones that were just in that movie. Like the second movie basically forgot about the characters that weren't like Van Damme and Chuck Norris and the other newcomers. This one I think did a better job at working them in still. So yeah, I thought that was actually, it was really well done. It was great to see Wesley Snipes and Mel Gibson back in action movies, and Antonio Banderas. So yeah, I really loved it. I still think you need to actually watch the series.
I do. I've seen the first one. The first one's good. I got to get to number 2 and 3. All right, number 4, How to Train Your Dragon 2. Great, fantastic family animated
Before
feature.
you go further, I'm going to say this is actually my number 4 as well.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. Yeah, love it. A lot of humor,
Absolutely.
a lot of good family-related stories. I love the dragons.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things too, maybe I'm weird, but I really like things that do storytelling and do things a little differently than the convention. And when they killed off the father and he actually died.
Yeah.
Like in the first movie, you know, it looks like Hiccup dies and then of course he doesn't. In this movie, the same thing with the father, but he did. And they left it right in and made it part of the story, and it's not what you expect, especially in a kid's movie, but they went with it.
It was quite, actually that part was quite emotional. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
everybody loves Toothless. He's a cute, cuddly little dragon. Everybody wants to have him for a pet, and he turns not evil, but you know he's under a spell, and you know he kills Hiccup's father.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy cow, that's quite graphic and intense
Yeah.
for a little children's movie.
Plus a little reminder that, you know, hey, cute cuddly dragon, but still.
Yeah, but
Not.
it works. It was great. It was emotional. You know,
Yeah.
it was adventurous.
And then at the very end, Toothless was the ultimate badass, and
Yeah.
you know, faced off against the giant dragon and beat him. So
Boom, great movie.
absolutely, I actually am okay with them keeping going with that franchise. Usually, kids' movies get too many sequels, but this could get at least one more, and I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. Number 3 for me is Snowpiercer. I don't know why it didn't come out in theaters because it would have done phenomenally. It's a great movie.
I've not heard of Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer, the end of the world is upon us. The world is now a frozen tundra, and this one train.
So it's the sequel to Frozen.
This one train just goes around, continually going around the world, and these people. It's like every car is separated by class. At the very end of the car is all the lower class people, and at the very front of the car are, you know, the rich,
Yeah.
well-off people, and it's just a great action. What do they call it? Action? I don't want to say adventure, but it's
Suspense.
no, it's a very
Thriller?
it's like a kick-ass movie. It's like there's a lot of action, and there's like the fighting and the great scenes, and it's just it's a feel-good movie. You know, fighting for the underdog, but there's actually some good suspense in there. There's some good moments where you're like, oh, what's going to happen? The cinematography is beautiful. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think it's one of the best reviewed movies of the year. Like I said, I don't know why it didn't come out in theaters. It was a direct-to-DVD release, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. My number 3 actually was Godzilla. I know that was one of the earlier ones we reviewed in the year, and I thought that was incredible. I didn't even know what to expect. I had only seen the original Godzilla, and it had been a long time prior.
Mm-hmm.
None of the other ones I'd even seen, but the movie was incredible. Just the acting was great. The way they changed the story immediately from what everyone suspected. Unlike some of the other movies we mentioned where the trailer gives away some of the best bits, this did the opposite.
Yeah.
The trailer teased Bryan Cranston the whole time and all this, and they kill him off in the first few minutes and change up the whole thing. Godzilla was astounding. That one end scene where he ripped it. Oh my god. That scene alone gets a 10.
Yeah, like people
That
are
was
saying that
perfect.
it wasn't a good movie because Godzilla wasn't in it enough, but I think if they would have thrown him
Yeah,
in there
he
more.
was in it just enough.
But
they paced him out perfectly.
I think the other monsters had more of an expanded role in the movie. And
Yeah,
I
the
think that's what
mutants
was
were
cool
there
to
a bit.
Muto. That's why I couldn't remember. But I think they held me over enough because I thought they were interesting creatures on their own.
Yeah.
The bridge scene, I love that scene.
Plus, they tried to keep his cry as close to the original as possible, and that was really cool. The nice little throwback to Godzilla's roar.
Yeah,
So badass.
that's why Godzilla's my number 2.
There we go.
Number 2.
See, mine actually was much further down on your list, but Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that really did it for me. I thought everything about that was great. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought the acting was amazing. The effects were incredible. The music, the soundtrack for that,
Yeah, I forgot about
great.
Yes.
The one scene.
I thought I heard, but I thought I might have been hearing things.
Yeah, sure. He was bouncing Spider-Man. That was the coolest thing. The neatest little effect and just a tiny little thing they threw in, but it's things like that that really made the movie.
Yeah, how have they
That,
gone through
for me,
5
was incredible.
Spider-Man movies and not used that yet? But I'm glad they did it there because the way they used it was perfect.
Yeah. And Dennis Leary was still in it as a ghost, which I'm always great seeing Dennis Leary as anything. He's great. Yeah, the whole thing for me was incredible. And that was another one, too, where they killed off one of the main characters and just, there you go. And you really didn't expect that either. Like, when they bashed her head, I legitimately out loud went, and yeah, that was nuts. So, yeah, that, to really hit you that much, like, that's good movie making.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yep.
And all right,
So that was your number 1.
That was my number 2.
That was your number 2.
Yes. So what's your number 1?
Number 1. All right, here's my problem with number 1. I wanted to see it because it's my genre, it's my thing, and then when I saw who starred in it, I was like, oh, no, I don't want to see it. So I have to give number 1 to Edge of Tomorrow.
Really?
Edge of Tomorrow is my number 1. I was totally surprised. I got it in my Netflix queue, and I said, you know what? I want to see it. I know Tom Cruise is in it. I hate him so much, and it's probably not going to be a good movie. And then when I saw it, my jaw was on the floor. I loved it. It was epic. There was no space battles. It was all just Earth-based, and it was if you know the premise of the movie, it's a very Groundhog Day, like just one man reliving the same day over and over again. And how is he going to try and use that to defeat the aliens? And the way they do it is just phenomenal. And Tom Cruise is awesome. He starts out in this cowardly, scared, terrible, like you just want to hate him kind of a role, and then he turns into the hero, and you kind of love it that he goes into it. It's just Emily Blunt is fucking kick-ass in the movie, and everybody else, and the aliens, and the action, and the adventure, and it was just phenomenal, hands down. Totally far and away, did not expect it to blow me out of the water as much as it did.
Yeah, my number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that was much further down on your list, but for me, that was perfect. Everything about them. I love the soundtrack. I think the acting was incredible. Rocket Raccoon, I absolutely love. I thought the effects were really good. I love comic book movies anyway. I've seen pretty much all of them. I even like a lot of the ones that most people shit on. Like, I liked Elektra. I liked Green Lantern. I liked Daredevil. I liked pretty much all of them except Catwoman. That was shit. So I went into this expecting a lot anyway, and it was way better than I anticipated. That was incredible. I have been dying to get the Blu-ray. Now that Christmas is done, I didn't. I'm gonna buy it probably tomorrow. Like, I just can't. I love that movie. So that was definitely number 1 for me.
It was great. I think I have to watch it again because we saw it in the IMAX 3D form. When I see a 3D movie,
Yeah, 3D will knock anything down.
3D, I'm so focused on trying to just see the image
There was a couple times when
that
we saw it too that
you kind of don't follow. That I'm kind of not following the story as much as I would like to. So I gotta like it was definitely good enough to make my top 10, but not good enough to where I remember it that I could put it higher on my list. But I'm sure if I saw it again, it would go higher. Because I remember it being funny and adventurous and just so different than all the other superhero
That one
movies.
too. I actually went out and bought the soundtrack on vinyl and everything. Like, it was everything about that movie was great for me. Got shirts from it. I went all out.
Yep, I saw. Yeah, the only thing I remember not liking about the movie is Groot dancing in the end.
Groot dancing? Yeah.
Yeah, Groot when he's there and Drax is sharpening his knife. Yeah, at the end.
It was a bit cheesy and out of place. I remember thinking that in the theater too. I'm like, that's
that is too much. Yeah. Yeah, when you're specifically going out of your way to try and be funny, I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me.
Although the Howard the Duck cameo at the end, that was fun.
That was good.
That was unexpected and funny, and that was cool. So yeah, all of that I loved.
Yeah, it's a great movie. So that was our Edge of Tomorrow number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 for him. Real quick, we're gonna do top 3
shittiest movies,
worst movies, and I think we got pretty much the same list.
Yeah, and actually, it's
are you gonna do it? I'm not gonna do it in a particular order.
No,
this
order
is the
won't
3
matter.
worst.
I'm sure they're the same 3, but by the way, if they are the same 3, all 3 of them were on the list of the 25 worst of the year.
Actually, I know two of ours are going to be the same. I'm pretty sure two of ours are going to be the same.
Well,
the third one
I'll
is...
say my 3 and see what you say, and I'm sure your third is mine too. But Teenage Mutant Turtles and Tusk. You actually probably don't agree with Turtles, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tusk, and Maleficent are my 3. All 3 of them, I actually had really high expectations. I was excited to see Turtles rebooted. I love the franchise, have since I was a kid. Tusk, I am a huge fan of Kevin Smith and collect horror movies, so that was perfect for me. He's an amazing story writer, so I thought great things were coming out of that, and that was the worst ever. And then Maleficent, Disney's been kicking ass lately, so I have really high hopes for that, and that was utter shit too. So yeah, those were by far my biggest disappointments of the year.
Well, yeah, Tusk for me, that definitely did it. I went in with high hopes, and it was, the first half of the movie was great, and then it went very...
That made it worse.
Downhill
it built up
very
so
fast.
well, and then just shit the bed.
Oh, terrible movie, awful. Maleficent, another of the worst of the worst. Just
And again, I went in expecting so much. The trailer looked amazing. The effects were incredible. The costume was incredible. Everything. It should have been a good movie.
Yep.
It was not.
So I heard stories of Angelina Jolie rewriting the whole script and wanting to do it her way, and I think she's just...
Well, that's what Will Smith did with Men in Black 3, and that's crap too. So.
And then my other one, not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I didn't think it was
I went in.
I remember you liked that.
I went in with low expectations because I really never liked the Turtles to begin with. So I went in with low expectations, and it was better than I thought. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't far and away anywhere near my top 20 movies of the year. But my probably the worst movie that I've seen this year by far was Transformers: Age of Extinction.
See, luckily I avoided that.
Just god awful. I mean, I had to see it with family and little kids wanted to go see it, so I went to the drive-in, and it was just...
See, the Transformers franchise has been
terrible.
On a steep decline, and so has Mark Wahlberg lately.
Ugh.
So the combination of the two just seems like an utter fail before it even started.
I'm surprised Stanley Tucci was in this movie. I don't know how they got him, because he usually is awesome and amazing. I mean, he was the highlight of the movie by far, but it was a shit role for him, and everything else was garbage, and Dinobots were awful, and the story, and just...
See, that's the thing, too. It was the one thing that had any appeal for me was they worked on the Dinobots, and I'm like, it's not enough. I can't do it.
The Dinobots were like in the last 5 minutes of the movie.
That's what I heard, that they were barely there.
It was just... And when they were there, it was just awful. Just terrible.
So there you go. 4 movies to not see. Just don't.
Stay away, Danger Will Robinson.
And that one's also in the worst movies of the year, so my statement still stands. So there you go. Our top 10, our bottom 3, and let us know down below if you agree or disagree, or what your lists are, what you do differently, if you would do it the same, what you thought.
Yep.
And if there are any movies of the year that we didn't mention at all, that neither of us had seen, let us know. If you think there's one that was really good that we didn't catch, I don't know about you, but I was looking at the list of releases of the year, and I came up with 24 of them that I had not seen that actually looked or sounded good, most of which I'd never even heard of.
Yeah, same here.
A lot of them horror flicks, because that's kind of my genre. But yeah, so if there's anything down below you think we really should have seen, let us know, and we'll see if we can go watch it and review it for you.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out The Unreliable Show. As always, if you like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, like.
Yeah, and this is probably the last video of the year, so Happy New Year! And we look forward to even more of this shtick next year.
Yay.
See ya!
Peace!